Hello friends, it's the star. Today I'll answer the last question, that is question 8 of the Southwest Regional Mock 2K20 ICT paper 2. Let's just fly in there and handle the issue. Good. 8 Romans 1. One of the major challenges faced by users of the internet and other networks is the security of data. What is data security? Good. Look at this image here. This is data security here. Okay. Data security refers to the process of protecting data from unauthorized access and data corruption throughout its life cycle. B. Describe 2 ways by which data can be lost in a computer system. C. Give a measure to minimize each of the causes of data loss cited in B above. So we'll start with, you can lose data by, you can have what we call hardware failure. And to minimize this, you keep your computer dry or your machine dry in a dry, shaded, dust-free, and well-ventilated area. Protect against power surge with an uninterruptible power supply. That's a UPS. So when, as we're in Cameroon here like this, you always cut lights. So it's always good to have this UPS. When they see lights, when you have a power failure or a blackout, automatically this UPS will continue supplying power to your system. If not, you have what we call a hardware failure. You can also have human errors. You can delete or human errors can make you to lose so much data. So to avoid this, practice good working habits. The third one is malwares. Yes, you have viruses, worms, Trojan horses. So to avoid that, limit that, you can use updated antivirus. So you install an antivirus, you make sure you update the antivirus using the internet. Romans 2, data integrity is considered paramount when processing data using computer systems. What is the meaning of data integrity? Good. Data integrity is the accuracy, completeness, and reliability of data throughout its life cycle. Good. These 3 parts are very important. Accuracy, completeness, and reliability throughout its life cycle. Explain 2 ways by which data integrity may be compromised. How can you understand data integrity? Let me just go back to this, my slide here, data integrity. For example, when you, in a database, if you have attributes like the teacher's ID and the data type is integer, you cannot enter any other thing than an integer number here. That's a form of data integrity. You cannot come and enter character instead of integer, or a string instead of an integer, or a text instead of an integer. So this is a form of data integrity. It makes sure that the data you enter is referenced by the data type of that attribute. Another example to easily understand this is with your database. When you create your database in Access and I'll consider the teacher and the subject. For example, the teacher and the subject. You will realize that the primary key of this teacher is teacher ID is found in the subject table, teacher ID. And now data integrity here has been enforced. The data integrity here has been enforced in such a way that you can fill up this table. You can fill up this table, but whenever you want to fill up the subject table, the ID you're putting here must be found here. You cannot carry a different ID, a different teacher's ID and put here, which is not found here. Like the program will indicate an error. It is impossible to do that when you have enforced data integrity. So the data here, the teacher's ID here is referencing the teacher ID of this table, and they must match together. If not, you have serious wahala. It will never go. Romans 3, explain briefly the following terms as used in project management. A task. Good. In project management, we talk of a task. In project management, a task is an activity that needs to be accomplished within a defined period of time or by a deadline to work towards work-related goals. That one I think is very clear. You read it and you understand. The B part is the critical path. The critical path is the longest duration path in a network. Yes, the longest duration path in a network. Let's consider this network here. There's a path here. A, you have to be a trajectory. You have A, C, F, H, and I. When you sum them up, you have 14 days. You have B, E, H, and I. When you sum them up, we have 16 days. And we have B, D, G, and I. When you sum them up, we have 24 days. So this is 25 days of the what we call the critical path. That is the longest duration path in a network. C, the slack time. In project management, float or slack is the amount of time that a task in a project network can be delayed without causing a delay to subsequent task, that is free float, and project completion date, total float. Here is the formula, because let me rearrange this thing. Oh, good. Okay, look at this example. We have a task A, B, and C. The duration normally 5, 10, and 17. You have the early start, the early finish, late start, late finish. You have the free slack and the total slack. So to get the total slack, you either take your the late start minus the early start. Yes, late start minus the early start, or the late finish minus the early finish. For the free slack, also the same thing. When you do that, you have these answers here. Romans 4, explain the differences between synchronous and asynchronous data transmission. These are all serial mode of communication, I think so. Okay, in synchronous data transmission is a data transfer method in which a continuous stream of data signal is accompanied by timing signals, in bracket generated by an electronic clock, to ensure that the transmitter and the receiver are in step, that is synchronized with one another. The data is sent in block calls, packets, they are called packets or frames, spaced by fixed time intervals. Okay, this is a transmitter here, and here's a receiver. So you send these frames of data, or this block of data, 8 bits, separated by what? Time interval. So with Synchronous, there's a clock signal that separate each data set, and they must be the same. And this Synchronous is very fast. It's a very fast mode of transmission than the asynchronous. Meanwhile, with the asynchronous, it's a mode of transmission where you have a start and an end bit, which are called control bits. So when the transmitter send is 8 bits, in front you have a start bit, and the end you have an N bit, which makes them 10 bits transmitted. So when this receiver is receiving it here, you will know that the first bit is the start bit and the last bit is the end bit. These are control bits. So you will just take the 8 bits now in between, and that will be the data sent. So thanks so much for viewing. If you have any question, you post it on the comment section. I will try to answer that. And make sure you subscribe and you click on like. God bless you and have a very, very nice day.